Hello, my name is John Doherty, and today we're going to talk about P1. It's also called address or setup position, and P1 is one of 10 positions in the golf swing. And instructors use it to analyze great golf swings and their students, and it gives a good comparison from down the line or caddy view, which we'll cover today. And we're going to cover everything from the feet to the head, the arms, and how you hold the club. And we're going to start with how you hold the club. So the left hand, right hand, I like to look at it in three simple ways. You can grip the club with the left hand in a vertical position like you're shaking somebody's hand, palm down or palm up, and the same with the right hand, palm up, vertical, or palm down. And we'll start with the left hand. I like to see the left hand in the fingers. We save the palm for putting, where we don't want a lot of wrist action. But in the fingers, we're going to be able to get a lot more wrist cock and a lot more power. So I like to see it just where sort of the base of the fingers meets the palm. And then I'd like to see, as far as the palm down, vertical, or palm up, I'd like to see it palm down about 30 to 45 degrees. What that ensures, it gives us a better chance to come in with a square club face without having to do a lot of things with our hands. As far as the thumb, I like to see the thumb long, and the reason why I like to see a long left-hand thumb is it allows the left wrist to hinge a lot easier. A short thumb puts pressure on the grip and inhibits that wrist cock, so we want to have that wrist free and have it wrist cocked for more speed in the golf swing. So things with the left hand, in the fingers, palm down about 45 degrees, long left-hand thumb. Pressure points, you're going to grip it probably a little bit more in the last three fingers of the left hand. There's not much pressure here in the thumb or the index finger. And then the right hand is going to sit really high on top of the left hand and not touch much of the golf club, just very little. Matter of fact, it only touches it about that much. The reason why is that the right hand is really used for feel and a thing called lag pressure we'll talk about later. But the right hand is going to ride very high on the left hand's thumb, almost, well, you will see the left hand thumb pop out if you have a long left hand thumb like I like. With the right hand, it's gripped very much in the fingertips. With it being so high up on the left hand thumb, you're going to need to find a place for your pinky finger, and I suggest overlapping it or interlocking it, and that's your choice. I just don't want to see all 10 fingers on the club because that's just too much of the right hand influence in the golf club, and you don't need that much. So high up on the left hand, see the little thumb peek out, and your thumb, the right hand, I'd like to see it rest on the left hand side of the grip. And the index finger in the right hand, some people use it as a trigger finger. I don't like that because it can impact the club too much in the golf swing. I like to see the fingers stacked on top of each other and just relaxed. Again, there's just not a lot of pressure in this hand at address. It needs to be really relaxed. You want to feel like you're probably holding a child's hand as far as your pressure at P1. You want relaxed wrist, relaxed elbows, a little bit of pressure in the last three fingers, but not much other than that. All right, now we're going to start with the feet. So the feet, people can have the feet multiple ways. This would be perpendicular to my target. You could have it pigeon-toed in. You could have them opened up. I like to see them opened up, and the reason why I like to see them opened up is it allows you to turn freely in both directions. If you're pigeon-toed, it's going to restrict your hip turn, and if you're straight, it also restricts your hip turn. So if you're hypermobile, it might not be a bad idea to have a perpendicular foot, but if you need more rotation in the golf swing, I suggest opening the feet a little bit. 15 to 20 degrees in both directions is good. As far as stance width, I'd like to see the stance width about 14 to 16 inches from the heels. This gives good balance and able you to transfer the pressure in the golf swing. Too narrow would be used more for the short game. All right, as far as knee flex, the knees can be in, they can be over my feet, or they can be outside my feet. You don't see that very much, but you do see the inside the feet quite a bit. And this is not very good for rotation either, and also tends to get people to slide their hips too much. I like to see the knees flex in the direction that the feet are pointing. So very neutral position with the knees. Moving up from this view, we'll talk about the head. There's three things I like to see with the head in the golf swing. I'd like to see your eyes sockets directly looking at the golf ball like I'm looking at the camera. I don't like to see someone set up to the golf ball where they're looking down at the golf ball down their cheekbones. So you would never see a sport in baseball of someone trying to hit an object with their head really high and then looking at the baseball down their cheekbones. We want to look directly at the golf ball. So what we'll do there is have our chin down, and this is hard for a lot of people. And the reason why people keep their chin up is to make room in the backswing for their left arm. But you look at all the Hall of Fame guys, and their chin was down, and their left arm was over the top of their chin. So chin down. Second thing I'd like to see and you can't see my face when my chin's properly down. My visor would be blocking you. Another great thing is you got movement, out in front of you, and you got a hat on and your chin's down. You can't see what's going out in front of you. It keeps you focused on the golf ball too. So second thing with the head is I'd like to see the right ear lower than the left ear. And the reason for this is, I get this question a lot, is the shoulders in the backswing need to turn at right angles to the upper part of the spine. So we don't want to have the head tilted to where the left ear is lower than the right ear and encourage some sort of reverse pressure shift. So I'd like to see the right ear lower than the left ear. And the second benefit of it too is coming into impact, we want to have our flying wedges set. And the flying wedges are where the right elbow is below the left elbow, my right forearm is on plane. So having my right ear lower than my left ear encourages me to have the proper swing direction coming down into impact, and not having my left ear lower than my right ear and encouraging something coming from this way. So the head really impacts the motion of the swing direction, and also how our body moves in the backswing. Third thing with the head is I'd like to see your chin down, right ear lower than left ear, and face slightly rotated down the target line. And this, I'd like to see, Jack Nicklaus used this, but he picked out a spot about a foot in front of the golf ball, and that helped him keep in his mind's eye where that target was. So when you're in your pre-shot routine and you're looking at your target, having your head slightly tilted right can kind of give you an indicator of where that target line is. So we can match our swing direction, angle of attack, club face, all that stuff up really good at impact, and have that proprioception, which is basically just your mind's ability to have awareness in space. So having that head and your eyes focus in the right way can really help you there. All right, also from this view, you're going to see, once I get my grip, and we'll just cover that again, palm down, 45 degrees to the right, long left hand thumb on the right side of the grip, right hand riding very high on top of the left hand, overlap or interlock, thumb on the left hand side, fingers stacked. Once I get that, my stance width is 14 to 16 inches wide. My feet are both flared open and not square. My knees are flexed in the direction of my feet. My chin is down, my right ear is lower than my left ear, and my face is slightly rotated in front of the golf ball, about 6 inches. Now you'll see I have my arms in position. So with the arms in position, I'd like to see the arms set up into what I call, well, what Homer Kelly called impact fix, and that's sort of getting to where we want to be at impact. So you can see my left arm and club shaft form a line. My left arm is straight. My hands are slightly in front of the golf ball, covering over, my hands are over my left thigh. And my right elbow is flexed and relaxed. Again, that's sort of setting us up to where we want to be at impact, which is having that right forearm on plane and the left arm high. All right, so 14 to 16, feet spread open, knees flexed over the feet, chin down, right ear lower than left ear, face slightly rotated forward, hands slightly in front of the golf ball, left arm and club shaft forming an inline condition. And that's your perfect setup from this view. Now covering the down the line view, there's some other things we're going to look at. All right, so the first thing I look at from down the line once you get set up is, how close are you to the golf ball? I like to see you start out with getting your knees flexed to where they're over the toes. So if I draw a line with my kneecap, it would go just right over my toes. Second point would be my elbows. I want my elbows to be over my kneecaps. Third thing is your stance. I'd like to see your stance slightly closed, so the right toe being probably near the balls of the feet of the left foot, not being completely square. So with the right foot slightly tucked back, that gives me that little bit more space for my elbow to come down in the downswing. And then as far as squaring up my hips, because if I have a closed stance, it's going to close my hips. I'm going to have just a little bit more knee flex with my right knee. All right, so we got a little closed stance, feet are flared open, my knees are flexed over my toes, my elbows, my arms are drawn in so that my elbows are over my kneecaps, my chin is down, my right ear is lower than my left ear, and my face is rotated forward. So then moving up in the area we haven't talked about is the pelvic area. So it's set up at pelvic area. You could see people set up in all sorts of ways, but a popular way is having the spine curved back up like this, and this is called anterior tilt. And this flexes your spine, and this is really hard on your back. It can also cause for some crazy takeaway positions. If you're real arched up, it can cause your hips to do some things we don't want to see in the golf swing. So a good way to kind of figure out where your tilt is, you got to be able to control this area of your body. And I suggest you go from the maximum anterior tilt and then go to the old man position, which is posterior tilt, and then find a happy place in the middle where your spine is neutral. So starting back again, I got my slightly closed stance, my feet are flared, my knees are flexed over my feet, my right knee's flexed more than my left knee, my elbows are over my knees, so my arms are in a little bit, my spine is in a neutral position, my shoulders are next. I like to see the shoulders to where they're over my feet. So if I looked at my shoulders, if I drew this line up from my toes to my knees to my elbows, I like to see my shoulders over that position. So you can see my upper thoracic area is not extended back, it's actually flexed forward. And that goes in line with what we were talking about with the chin down. That's your cervical area, and then your thoracic area being curved even more down at the ball. All right, so let's do our checks again. Our feet are slightly flared, 14-inch stance width, knees are flexed over my feet, my kneecaps are over my toes, my arms are brought into my chest so that my elbows are over my toes, my chin is down, my right ear is lower than my left ear, my face is rotated slightly forward about 6 inches, my spine's in a neutral position, my shoulders are over my toes. Weight, as far as pressure, is very much in the balls of my feet, not too much towards the heels and not too much towards the toes. All right, so now you're ready to go. So P1 position gets us started in a great place. My name is John Doherty. Thanks for watching. Hope to get that second video out here, P2 pretty soon. Have a good one.